everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. We're sticking with a few more fun animals, and today I'll be showing you how to make this adorable panda rock. We'll break it down shape by shape, so even if you're the most beginner of beginners, you'll be able to make a cute panda rock like this. Now, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up so you never miss another one of our fun tutorials. So when doing a panda rock, a lot of it's just blocking out the basic shapes. I've got my big 5M Posca pen and white and black, and then my 1M Posca pens in black and white as well. If you're unfamiliar with these pens, I'll make sure to link to the video where I talk about them a bit more. But you could definitely do this with a brush and paint. It's just, I like using my pens. It's summer break. My kids are home. At any moment, they could decide that they need something or want something, and I've got to be able to clean up fast. So putting caps on and getting out of here is very important for me right now. So even though white is not my favorite for doing with these pens because it tends to need more than one layer, it still expedites my process. And my cleanup factor is probably the #1 reason in the summer that they work great for me. So we're just going to start by blocking out our shapes. So we're going to do kind of a more of an oval shape first here on our head, and then we're going to do more of a wide tipped teardrop shape on the bottom. We're going to fill both of those in with white. They're going to need multiple coats. So we're just gonna lay that down there. There's no point of going over and over it. You need to let it dry in between layers. You just have to. So while that's drying, we can start blocking out some of our other shapes. We're not gonna fill them in right away. We're just gonna start placing the shapes so we can space out our little panda. So we're gonna do an ear on one side and an ear on the other. Now these ones I can fill in because it's not overlapping any of my white. I just don't want to put anything that's gonna get in the way of me getting my second coat of white down here in a minute. Like so. And the arms, we're gonna pull them directly kind of from, so the shoulders would be right underneath their chin. They don't really have like a neck. It's kind of bunched up in their fur. So we're going to come right out from slightly below the head here, like so, and out to the side. And I'm going to come about halfway down the arm here and go back up like so. Same thing on the other side. You can take a couple passes, try to get them as even as you can. When you fill them in, you'll be able to kind of even them out too. Like so. And then for our feet, our panda is going to be sitting on his little tush. So we're going to do the feet kind of off to the side. So we're going to do kind of the bottoms almost kicked up. So you want to leave most of the body alone here. But you can take and make a line, like if his leg came up just a smidge, and then do a foot right there like that. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Up a little bit. And then his foot, like the bottom of his foot, like so. Okay, so there's our basic shapes. Now his legs are gonna come back in here, but we wanna get that white down, but you know what, we'll get a little bit of the leg because we don't need to cover more than necessary with white. Kind of like that. We'll have them kind of disappear into the legs a little bit. So I'm going to do a second coat on this in the white and let it dry really good, and then we'll be back. Okay, I wasn't a huge fan of the way that my lines were laying for those bottom lengths, so I went ahead and did a coat of white on top of it. I'm going to do one more. It did pull a little bit of that black in there, but that actually works out okay. I mean, it's the bottom part of the animal. Most likely it would have a little bit of a shadow down there. And we're still going to play around with those legs a little bit just to give them that sitting. But we're going to get a little bit more of it blocked out before that. So my white is still settling in, drying, but we're going to fill in some of these other shapes while that's going on. I didn't put white underneath where my black arms and legs were gonna go, so I can go ahead and fill those in without worrying about white, because that bottom coat is definitely dry. So we're gonna fill in our arms. And once they're filled in, you'll really be able to tell if you need to do any reshaping. And we're gonna fill in our legs here, like so, the bottoms of our feet, kind of. And I'm gonna just add a little bit here, like so. I'm gonna go back with my 1M, my smaller tip here. I feel like the legs would actually come back this way a little bit more, like so, and then kind of sink in. There we go. I'm hitting some wet white, so I might have to wait a little bit on that. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and line the outside of his head. Now when you're lining something like this, if you want to give a little bit of hair marks, you can, to give it a little bit of a fuzz. Just kind of let your pen kind of bounce on the rock just the littlest bit. Instead of having a super smooth line, you can kind of give it that fuzz, bumpy little line, kind of gives it a little bit of a fuzzier look, like so. And I'm even gonna separate my body from the head there. Okay, so now it's time to give our panda a little bit of a face. Now this can be the trickiest part. You've got to make sure you're letting things dry in between layers as well. Trying to put white on top of black is not ideal either. So what we're going to do is we're going to work from the center of the eyes out so that we can leave the negative space where we want white. The only white I don't mind adding at the end is the little highlight in the eye when it's all said and done. So I'm going to start with the triangle shapes for the eyes, the outlines of the eyes, but I'm not going to fill them in yet. So we're going to start here on this side, and they come pretty close together here. Kind of like so. There's one. And I'm kind of sketching them on because you can make adjustments once you've got both. If you need to, you can round the edges a little bit more when you're filling them in and things of that nature. You just want the outside edges of them to match pretty well. And then we can do our little nose here and our little mouth. Okay, now we're going to place our pupil way in the center here. In the center of the head going this way. Okay, now there's going to be a layer of the white around the eye that you have to leave negative space. You know, you can, if you mess it up, let it dry, go back in with white. It's just easier to just leave that space if you can. So I'm going to let this dry just a little bit more, and then we're going to start filling in the black part on his eye. So in the meantime, you can add a little something on here, maybe a couple leaves at the top of a shoot of bamboo. Give him something to hang on to. You know, you can have a couple blades of grass kind of kicking up from the ground around him. Give him some place to sit, someplace he kind of exists. Okay, that's just a rough little addition just to give a little bit more to your rock. Here we go. You can even add a little bit of overage on the paw there, like he's holding on to it. There we go, like so. All right, so this white's looking pretty dry. So what I'm gonna do, I like to kind of work my way up to the eye. So I'm going to kind of fill in back here. Oh, my pens. Work my way from back here and get nice and close. And then I'll fill it in. So again, so once you've got that circle around the eye, you can fill in the rest. And then we're going to go in with our black and give him less of a shocked look. Deer in headlights right now. But like I said, it's easier to leave the white and then adjust it later than to have to try to add the white on top of the black. Okay, so we've got our eyes on there. Now to kind of give it less of a deer, just kind of give him a little bit of a hood on there, just like that. Now the last thing that we're going to need to do is to give him a white highlight. So we got to let those pupils dry really well. All right, so we're just going to add our final little highlight. In his eyes, and he's done. A simple little panda. Anybody can recreate this guy. He's really fun to do. Holding on to his little shoot of bamboo. Got lots of other animals that you can watch as well, so go find your next animal rock for inspiration. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment below if there's an animal we haven't done that you'd like to see. Bye-bye.